Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, worshippers of all ages, welcome to YouTube. My name is SeaRaptor, and today we're bringing you a battle report from the bridge of Tier VII Japanese cruiser Myoko. Now, Myoko is, well, one of the older ships in World of Warships, originally coming into the game at Tier 8, way back when the game was in alpha and closed beta. But somewhere along the line, she was reduced down to Tier 7, and Mogami was inserted at Tier 8 instead. Does this make does this make Myoko under-tiered? No, I'd say no. I think Myoko fits in very, very well at Tier 7. We're here on two brothers spawning on the north side, and this is a very destroyer-light game by modern standards. Only two destroyers on each side. We have an Akazuki and a Leningrad. They're running a Fantask and a Shiratsuyu. And so, our Akazuki proceeds to D. The Leningrad looks like he's coming over here. There are carriers in this game. Of course, we have a Saipan. They have a Shokaku. Myoko's anti-aircraft firepower is not amazing, but it's generally sufficient for self-defense. And you can see there that I have taken defensive fire to try and help shore her up in this regard. So, what is it? Why am I playing a 4-year-old heavy cruiser? Well, for starters, I think there's a lot of folks that still are working through some of the older lines. We've got a lot of new players. I've gotten a lot of requests lately for, hey, help me understand how to play Ship X or Line Y. And I really, really like the Japanese cruiser line. I think when you get to Furutaka at Tier 7, they are a very consistent, very satisfying experience all the rest of the way up the line. The only possible exception is stock Mogami, because she is kind of a light cruiser, so it's a bit of an odd switch in the middle. Every other ship, though, just feels really, really good. Same, very, very similar guns, almost the same ballistics. These trolley, very, very hard-hitting HE shells. And their AP is nothing to write home about as well when used against the right targets. Now, what I'm doing here, as the match begins, I swing super wide, all right? I'm almost on the 1 line here with only 2.5 minutes gone. And I'm doing this intentionally because, I can't spot anything in A, and we can see now there is someone capping A. We don't know which destroyer it is yet. It's probably not the Fantask, but it could be. He still outspots me. But we have a Chapayev nearby. If you look there on the minimap, you can see we have a Chapayev in D4. And so I'm over here for a couple of reasons. Mainly, when I start a game with a heavy cruiser, I try to play some angles, right? I try to swing wide. I try to look for an angle. And Two Brothers is one of those maps where you can't really sit in the middle, so you got to go wide. The Chapayev radar does pick up the Shiratsuyu, and this is the first chance you're going to get to see the Japanese HE do trolley things. Look at that poor Shira. I just ruined that guy's game. I took half his health away in one salvo, and the follow-up fire is going to wipe him out. His game lasted 3 minutes. And a large part of that is because Japanese HE. Japanese heavy cruisers are insanely accurate. They have great dispersion. So once you learn how to aim, once you learn how to have the shells work and everything, they're just so good because they reward good aim. Up a destroyer feels good really early. We can look on the minimap now and see their Fantask is way over on the 9 line, so we know there is not another destroyer over here to contest the cap. That feels good. We know we're not going to be getting torpedoed as we go. There's a Fiji down there in smoke. He's backed up at long range by North Carolina and a Gascon. Now, as a Japanese cruiser, I'm excited to see this Gascon because French battleships in general are covered in 32 millimeters of armor. That means my HE shells will full pin this guy all day long. Between full pins and fires, look at that salvo. 6.5K plus a fire. That feels really good here. So yeah, I'm excited to see this guy over here. But I have to be a little cagey. You see here, I'm changing position. I'm angling out. One of the things that Myoko does best, Myoko is a kiter. If you've played the ship, you know her torpedo angles are really, really stern-focused. And that's what I mean when I say Myoko is a really, really good kiter. Because if you can put Myoko in a position where the enemy has to push into you, now you are in great shape. You've got all of these guns, all of these HE shells, and your torpedo armament comes into play. If you are in a Myoko and you are trying to push the enemy, you are really not in a position to use her torpedoes. And her torpedoes are really, really good. Now, there's not anything wrong with her guns. Her guns are also good as well. But if you want to maximize the use of the ship, you want to try and put your Myoko in a position where the enemy is pushing into you. So as we look at the minimap here, how would I do that? Well, look at the board, right? we're going to own A. All they have left over here is that Fiji. The Fiji has running. He has to be running. We've shoved a Massachusetts and a Leningrad into A. A will be ours very shortly. The Gascon is running. The North Carolina is trapped behind this island. And, well, we can see there the Massachusetts sending him some love. I'm going to send him some love. He's not in a great spot. They have 3 ships on this half of the map. If I stay here, there's very little that I can do to contribute to this push other than light some fires on some battleships. However, look at the other side of the map. If you look at the 8, 9, 10 lines, that's where the majority of the enemy fleet is. And you can rest assured that those guys are going to want to push into our A cap, our spawning cap. So, I decide, after several minutes playing around over here on the 9-10 line, sorry, the 1-2 line, that I'm going to go back, and I'm going to push Myoko, and I'm going to put her in a position where she can maximize her strengths, and she's going to try and blunt the push that I sense is probably going to come around the corner, up the 7-8 line, as those guys want to try to get into our A cap. Because the rest of our team literally is leaving. Look at them. The Bismarck, the Bayern, the Saipan. There's one lone Akazuki on the 10 line doing his thing, and he might yet beat the Lefantask, I don't know, but he's literally all alone on that half of the map. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to be there, and I'm going to troll these guys and prevent them, try to prevent them from capping A, and in the meantime, farm them for some damage. Along the way, I clearly have nothing better to be doing, so I'm obviously throwing shells at these battleships that are getting pummeled by my team. The Akazuki does win his fight against the Lefantask, so they are now without destroyers. That means they are not going to be able to cap A in a ship that I can't spot. Especially not if my Saipan gets involved. He can bring his planes in and help me out. So I feel really good about this choice right now. So for the moment, we're just kind of tooling around. Everybody's out of my range, right? Like the Gascon is too far south. The Fiji is running. The team has finally realized about 2 or 3 minutes kind of after we made this decision that things coming from the other direction are going to be a problem. And so yeah, I'm already headed that way. This Bismarck in front of me is also going to hang around the cap and play a very good game. Because you notice what 3 ships are closest to that cap. If you look at the minimap on the last spotted, a Helena, a Duca d'Aosta, and a Kutuzov. So 3 light cruisers feels Bismarck, man. Like, yeah, absolutely, I'd keep a Bismarck around. I absolutely would court that engagement. My secondaries will pen them. My main battery guns are a huge threat. The only thing over there that even gives me any pause is the Kutuzov, because if he's got someone spotting for him, he can sit in a smoke cloud and farm my health, which feels bad. So, but who comes around the corner first? It's the Duca. Now, this guy has got some problems, right? The Bismarck is right in front of him. He has to try and be cagey about how he addresses this Bismarck in terms of his positioning and his angle. But I'm going to give him something else to think about, because I'm going to swing as far north as I can, and I'm going to cause this guy as many headaches as I can, right? He can't really turn now. He basically, if he turns out, he's dead. Either I'll kill him, or the Bismarck will thump him off the board. So the only thing he can really do is keep charging. But continuing to charge means death. So this guy's already dead. It's simply a matter of time. All he can do is try to rack up some damage. And you see here, he switched to the AP and is trying to farm me for damage, but I'm not super concerned about Duca's AP shells, right? These are 6-inch guns. My armor's decent. His shell velocities are such that he'll either get his citadels or he'll overpen me. And I'm not convinced he's going to get them. Now, I loaded the AP there. I kept thinking he would have to turn. Surely this guy has to turn. But he never does. And eventually, the Bismarck just ends the problem. Kutuzov's in there somewhere. Ooh, he edged out of his smoke. Ooh, you should not have done that, sir. I'm going to get some damage on you before you manage to sneak back in there. Yep. Good 4 or 5k there, and a reset. He cannot come into the cap. If he comes into the cap, he's spotted. The Bismarck will have him. So if he's going to stay alive, he has to sit in his smoke off the cap circle. So again, we will continue to own this cap. We're only up 1 ship. The team has done a great job and has now pushed a lot of force into the C cap, the enemy's spawn point there. As I know somewhere up off my bow is the Helena. There he is. There he is. I've finally got him spotted. And he has similar issues because of the Bismarck's position, because of my position. He has nothing but bad choices to make. My torpedoes have reloaded. So, again, he has to push me or risk or, die. So I'm fishing. I'm not trying to kill him with these torpedoes. What I'm trying to do here is force him either to go away or make bad positioning choices by putting one out there where he has to turn to avoid it. That's why I'm firing the wide-angle torpedoes there, right? I'm not expecting to get a hit. But if he picks one up, if he senses one, and it forces him to maneuver, well, that works. I did try an AP salvo there. I did not get it, obviously. He had already angled away too far before I could get it, but that's all right. He's still a light cruiser. My HE is still going to do really, really nasty things to this guy. Now, the Kutuzov does finally manage to bag the Bismarck, but look at him. It's cost him the majority of his HP. He's down to about 20% of his health. And he's backing off. A friendly Synop has turned around to help. This feels good, so now the two of us are back here, basically keeping them off of this cap as we're now up one ship, and we've finally managed to cap C. Now, one thing I'm not doing very well with these AP shells, like that might have been a good AP salvo if I had let it enough. The HE and AP performance on Myoko sometimes feels they feel a little different, right? So I've got to get more practice in with these AP shells. These are not the laser shells that you're used to if you've played Zao, for example. And now, having just put out a fire, I'm on fire again, and my rudder is out. So now, I don't want to keep turning at full speed. That's going to put me port side onto the Scharnhorst. He'll have a beautiful shot, so what I do, basically, is I just pull the brakes. I can't maneuver, but I can joggle my speed, which will give me at least some additional survivability. Our Saipan comes in for a brilliant torpedo strike on this Helena, forces him into maneuver, and Synop takes care of him. So now, they're down to, coming into us, the Scharnhorst, the Kutuzov, and the Arizona. Way in the back, the Arizona. Their Gascon has been largely marginalized. He's down on the eye line. Their Fiji's behind the island, again, down on the eye line. And then their Shokaku is somewhere. Presumably somewhere along the 10 line. Probably, I'm guessing, if I had to guess, he's probably in D or E10 somewhere. So now, again, I'm not afraid to start courting an engagement here with the Scharnhorst. Especially since this Scharnhorst is doing the wrong thing and firing high explosive at me. Now, I have no idea why he's doing this, but I'm not going to complain. Never interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake. So since he's firing HE at me, I'm willing to take a risk and show him this ridiculous flat shot, right? Under normal circumstances, I would never attempt this. But let's see, was the HE that he fired at me a minute ago a mistake? Or was it like he had it loaded, so he was getting... Nope, he's continuing to fire HE. So what we've found here is the unfortunate Scharnhorst player who doesn't understand the value of his own AP shells. Now, that's to my benefit. I'm gonna milk this for all it's worth, but it's not going to do him any favors. He's maneuvering. He's in a fight with this Synop. If he was firing AP at me, I'd be far more concerned. And honestly, firing AP at me is probably one of the best things he could be doing. If I was this Scharnhorst, I'd be firing AP at me while I continued to push and charge that Synop and get in torpedo range. But that's not what this guy's doing. He's maneuvering all over the place. He doesn't seem to have a plan. You can see it in how he's maneuvering his ship. He doesn't know what to do. And he dithers long enough that the Synop puts a bunch of full pins into him, wrecks him hard, and on double fires, he becomes my first kill of the game. We own all the caps now, but we're still tied on ships and, ironically, a little bit down on health. The Gascon has won a duel against our Fuso down on the H line, and the Arizona polishes off the Synop. And so now, it's me and the Saipan, and interestingly, the Leningrad. The Leningrad has literally made a complete loop of the map and is now north of the decap, able to put pressure on these guys a little bit and cause them to maneuver. Now, getting the Kutuzov off the board would feel really good. The guy's on 5,000 HP. I should be able to knock him off with an HE salvo, but he's well out of my range. I've got to flip around and try and get back there to see if I can get shells on this guy. The Arizona's continuing to push. I'm okay with this. He's fat, he's slow, and if he's pushing me, he's coming into my torpedo range. I'm fine with this. He's distracted by the Leningrad, who's lost a bunch of health distracting these guys, but that's okay. So, my goal now is just to be a thorn in this Arizona's side. Now, I'm playing a little bit of a risky game here, especially with this turn. He's turning to get his guns on me. This could end bad. I joggle my throttle a little bit, trying to juke him, trying to throw off his aim. Most players assume that when you turn a cruiser, you're moving at full speed, and that's not always the case. But many players don't take the time to check, so they learn one lead. Oh, I lead an enemy cruiser by X number of hashes, and then they don't ever correct based on what their enemy's doing. I have got him on fire. Pick up a nice Confederate award. And now the Kutuzov is snuck into range. I've got to get some shells on this guy. Come on. Feels bad. And even the Arizona is firing HE at me? Come on, dude. Really? Oh, okay. Well, sure. He eats some beefy Leningrad torps. Feels good for the Leningrad. He's got my torpedoes coming in, but he's actively maneuvering now. I think he's finally realized he's thinking better of this push. Time's ticking away. There's less than 30 seconds in the game. He might kill me, but not as long as he's firing HE, he's not going to kill me. Leningrad and Kutuzov are having a duel. I kind of favor the Kutuzov in that engagement. There's another fire. We'll see. Maybe the Leningrad can bag him. Ooh, it's looking bad for the Leningrad. Down under 12K, or 1200. One more salvo. There he goes. Enemy Kutuzov bagging his second kill, as I just want this Arizona to die. The loss of the Leningrad does reset the clock a little bit. We're burning the bejesus out of this Arizona. He's still firing HE at me. And, well, that's all she wrote. So what is it I want you to take away from this game if you're learning heavy cruisers or maybe new to World of Warships? The thing is this. When you pick up a ship, when you play a ship, especially as you play a new ship, start to try and develop a sense of what it does well and what it doesn't do well. And to the best of your ability, when you're playing that ship, put it in a position that it can maximize that strength. Whatever it is. Maybe it's a pusher. German battleships like Gneisenau and Scharnhorst, they can lead a charge. They can lead a push. Their torpedoes, their secondaries, their armor schemes really lend well to that sort of thing. It's one example, right? Japanese cruisers, like Myoko here, they do really, really well as kiters. If you see if you're pushing into a Japanese cruiser, you are playing his game. Now, sometimes you have no choice. But sometimes, if you do have a choice, you should knowingly try and deny your opponent playing into something that he does really well. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed that one. Thanks for watching. Be safe out there, and I'll catch you next time.